To all of my family out here at WMOX. I'm not a stranger to this particular radio program, but I do thank you all for having me out, and all the other candidates who have chosen to participate in this. It really takes a lot to step out in faith, a lot of courage to step out in faith to even run for a political office. So I'm just honored to have the opportunity. I am Kim Houston, and I do want to be your next mayor for the city of Meridian. I have served on the Meridian City Council since 2013. I have actually been voted in as president 3 times by the Meridian City Council, which speaks volume of my leadership ability. I have 2 wonderful children. I am a business owner here in the community for over 20 plus years. I have a nonprofit organization, a ministry here. I'm just about the people. I am about the people, and because of the things that I have witnessed while sitting on the city council, I felt strongly that it was time to not just sit in a seat where all I can do is suggest things to the administration, but actually get at the ham of this city so that we can really move this city, Meridian, Mississippi, in a different direction. The direction that I want to move the city in is one where we bring the city together. Meridian has a lot of resources. We have a lot of great things to offer anybody. But as long as we are divided, as long as we use all these different things that we kind of pick and choose to separate us, we got to become one so that we can be more attractive for economic development, so that we can be more attractive and get our public school district back where it is a inclusive school district. We got to get to the point where we are all singing the same song so that our people and those watching us near and far will say, hey, Meridian, that's a pretty good old place. That's some kind of special city there, and maybe choose us.
The mic, check the mic.
It's working. I thought
It just went out.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, you got me.
I hope.
All right, and one of the other things that I am very passionate about, and it's been really part of our campaign, is putting unity back in community. And I have several strategic plans, platform, if you will, however you want to word that. But I have a vision for the city. The Bible talks about all the time that our people perish because the lack of knowledge, and where there's no vision, the people perish. And so I do have a vision for the city that is inclusive, and one that everybody can get excited about, one that everybody can play a role in, and we can completely, again, like I said, move this city in a different direction.
All right, Kim Houston in with us this morning, and some opening comments and getting on the political stump. Listen, we can start. Don't you even check that microphone?
Yeah.
There you go. We'll let you start. Then it's working. Take your first question.
Well, if I say something, it'll go off.
Just don't tell.
Kim, I want to start with a.
Well, you did.
Kim, I want to start with a current event, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And ask you to explain something to me.
Sure.
Or to us. Hardee's restaurant, as I understand it, wanted to build a restaurant on the Highway 19 North across from Walmart, and applied to the city for permission to do that, and they were denied. What happened?
Okay, so let's set the record straight on that. It was not Hardee's trying to build a restaurant there. The gentleman, the couple, whoever is actually the owner of that property, they got with the administration at some point in time. The city council was bought in at the last minute. We were told that Hardee's had signed a letter of intent and they were definitely coming, and this, that, and the other. And what they wanted from the city of Meridian was for us to spend almost $200,000 to put in a lift station on this private property. The lift station, of course, is dealing with, infrastructure, water, the sewage and all that kind of stuff. And so, we were considering it. We asked them, okay, we need to see the letter of intent. We need to get the details. We want to know how much you all pay in taxes. We needed some information so that the city council could then come back and make a knowledgeable vote on how to move forward with this. That is on my side of town, and I do hear a lot of my residents that want different restaurant options. So it wasn't that we were against this project. The issue came in that it's a lack of trust with the administration. We were painted one picture, and then when the details came to us, the letter of intent was not signed. The property owner, this is not a done deal. It's no guarantee that Hardee's was coming. And when the second meeting that we had with Hardee's and the people that actually own this property, it's 6 acres of land across from Walmart out there. When they actually came before us again and we asked Hardee's, is this a guarantee that you all are coming? They said, no, this is no guarantee. Even if all this is done, it's no guarantee. But it will help us make a decision on whether or not we want to do this.
Right.
And so because of the trust, that communication factor that I talk about all the time, the trust had been broken between the administration and the city council. It did not look like there was going to be enough votes to get that passed. So the motion ended up dying. Councilman George Thomas even suggested, hey, if y'all are willing to pay half of that $200,000,
The landowner?
The landowner or Hardee's, whoever be willing, if they would pay half of that $200,000. So it wouldn't look like we are investing in private property to make a piece of commercial property better for an individual. So if the sale doesn't go through, his property now has more value that he can jack that price up and sell it and really make a good profit, because now he has infrastructure in place that he could go and probably market to any business. Right. So it became a question of, is this fair? Are we doing something? Is this a political favor? You know, there was a lot of questions that came up in the mind of the city council as it relates to, you know, who is really going to benefit from this, since Hardee's is saying that it's not 100% guaranteed that we are coming. Right. This would just be a step closer for them to decide whether or not the deal could be made. And since the trust was broken, and you know, once trust is broken, it's kind of hard to come back and say, oh, we didn't realize it wasn't signed. Oh, this is not what we meant, da, 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 da. But now the picture is out there that this individual could stand to profit pretty big time by increasing the value of his property and then sell it to someone else. I mean,
what was the vote?
We actually did not vote. It was not a vote. I'm not sure where that rumor came from, but the motion actually it died once several of the council members, three of the council members kind of spoke out that they were not in favor of this project. Dr. Thomas made he made the suggestion about, hey, if y'all are willing to pay half, I'd consider it then, half of that $200,000. I'd consider it then. They couldn't say that they would do it. And so as president, when we saw that it did not look like it was going to pass at all, the motion pretty much died to even continue with the conversation. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dr. Thomas withdrew his motion.
All right, so let's go down that same road. Let's talk a little bit about, I mean, in general, about economic development. Let's talk about your experience over your last terms as councilwoman and being on the council. Mm-hmm. The perspective from that point of view to what you'll do. What do we want to do once you get in as mayor? What would we do differently?
Oh my goodness, there'd be several things that we would do different. First of all, we're going to have a fair hiring process, promotion process. We have a lot of talent within the city of Meridian that is being overlooked, underpaid, and then you have some folks that, for whatever reason, they're getting wealthy off of the city, and then we don't have a fair bidding process. In my mind, now, I could be wrong, because as on the city council, we can't really see all that goes into the bidding process and the fairness of it, but it's mighty peculiar to me that the same organizations businesses, companies seem to always get the bids. They always come in at the lowest, best bids. And it's people out of Jackson. I mean, it's just people. And I feel strongly that Meridian has a lot of resources here. And when I have conversations with some of the business folks around here and say, hey, why didn't y'all bid on, tearing down that building? Or why didn't you all get something going with all these dilapidated houses that we have around town? Why are we not seeing your name on anything? And the comments have come back to me. Well, Kim, I was told that y'all already had somebody, that it was already bid out and done. And I'm like, no, we just voted on it last night. So, it's those kind of things that make me question about the fairness of our bidding process, the fairness of our hiring process. I know several people that are well qualified that applied with the city of Meridian and did not get these particular positions. And then to find out the people that are in those positions, it's like, okay, how did they win out over this person? And then promotions. We need to spend time training our people. It makes absolutely no sense that it took us forever to get a police chief. I think we had 4 or 5 different police chiefs that kind of came through this administration, and some of the ones, and I will be honest, as president, some of them I told them we just can't move forward with this particular person because of the background that came along with them, and I feel strongly that the city of Meridian deserves better. But if we had training in place so that our current employees can be in a position to be promoted, so that they can have something to look forward to, they can work toward, and then have an excitement about working for the city because there is growth opportunities. Those are some of the things that I want to do differently. And when I talk about putting unity back in community, I want to make sure that we are doing things in such a way that people realize and understand the 6 people that lead this city. And when I say the 6 people, I'm talking about the mayor and the 5 council people. We cannot change Meridian all by ourselves. It's going to take more than 6 people to move Meridian in a different direction. It's really going to take Meridian, the people of Meridian. And so that's why my administration will be focused on the people, bringing things like an economic development task force. We've talked about, I hear all the time about how we need more jobs and, more career opportunities and things of that nature. My thought process is that we shouldn't put everything in the hands of the EMBDC. Perhaps we need to develop this economic development task force. And when folks don't want to come to us, we load up the bus with MCC, a representative from MCC, MSU, Lauderdale County School District, Meridian Public School District, and our private school districts that we have here. We load up the bus with our Meridian Police Department representative and the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department, so that we can show them that our city is a safe city despite all the rumors, despite everything that's being said about us. We load up the bus with, of course, the EMBDC pastors, and then we want to make sure that we have the president or vice president of the city council also on this bus ride. And we go to the industry that we want to come here. When they're not paying attention to us, we need to load up the bus and pay attention to them, maybe bring them to the table and say, hey, we want you, as opposed to waiting on somebody to notice us. I would have a emergency management task force, just like with this storm last night. Thank God. I pray that everybody is well and made it through. But just like this storm last night and the winter storm that we had a few weeks ago, the tornado that came through our city a few years ago, when I talk about putting unity back in community, having this emergency management task force, we will already have interlocal agreements in place so that our churches, our faith-based community, our volunteer community, they want to be involved. They want something to do. But if we call them at the last minute and say, hey, can you open up your facility? 9 times out of 10, It's going to be, oh, I got to scramble. We don't know if we have the people available. I want to be the mayor that's proactive with already having interlocal agreements in place with our faith-based community. So if it is a winter storm and power is out and people need a place to be warm, we already have partnerships with our faith communities and volunteer communities to use their family life centers as a warming station. We already have trained volunteers that we've taken out to that wonderful training facility out there and taught them how to accurately use a chainsaw and those kind of things. To me, it makes no sense that when all these people flood our city from Timbuktu, wherever they come from, these ministries that come in when disaster happens, it makes no sense to me that when they leave, all the work stops. We have enough faith-based organizations and volunteers and people that care about this city to be able to take care of our own when disaster happens. But it means having these things already in place when it does happen. I want to have a community policing advisory council, CPAC. When we talk about public safety and working with the police department and building trust between the entities, even having the sheriff's department on board, we want their representative too, so that, I hear all the time people complain about the sheriff's department because they feel like they're only in the city writing tickets for seatbelts and running the red light. I want to be the mayor that strategically sits down with the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department and the Meridian Police Department and say, hey, how can we work together to go into these areas of Meridian where there is high crime? I get the seatbelt thing, I get the red light thing, but how do we work together to really deter and slow down the crime in Meridian? And our CPAC, Community Policing Advisory Council, will be a real council, a real advisory board made up of people that actually live within the city of Meridian who have a vested interest in slowing down the crime rate. This will be people, I will ask the city council, I would ask them to send me a representative from their ward. That way we have those 5. I want to include the city council in everything. I know how valuable that relationship is. So, and I've seen the division. I've seen what division between the administration and city council can cause. So having those city council members to send us a representative from their ward, the sheriff's department, Meridian Police Department, we want to include our pastors. We want somebody from the youth. We want a youth to be represented on this council, NAACP, our senior citizens. Our senior citizens have a completely different set of needs and concerns as it relates to crime. We need them at the table so we can hear their concerns. The Panhellenic Council, that is the Greek and fraternal organizations that we have here in the city of Meridian. They have so many volunteers. They have to do community service. Having them at the table to give us a broader perspective, because this particular council, this advisory council, will be able to host events within the city with the Meridian Police Department, with the Sheriff's Department, so that we can build that trust. We'll implement the neighborhood watch, continue with that, but I would want it set up throughout the city. We have a lot to offer. Affordable housing initiative. That's something else that I'll do differently. Instead of tearing down every single dilapidated house, there are some structures that I find that have been abandoned. But if we have a partnership, if we already have an interlocal agreement with Habitat for Humanity, Meridian Housing Authority, even some of our local contractors and landlords, if we already have an interlocal agreement with them where some of these homes that are salvageable, what if we pool our resources together and have them come in and rehab that house, and then we offer it for sale at cost? Now, it can't be that you're in this to make money, but I feel strongly that we have enough people in this community that want to see Meridian prosper. And this is just another way to get that done. So we sell it at cost or either rent to own at cost. We improve that area, that community. We give people some affordable housing, and it's a win-win for everybody involved. See, the idea that I have is about working together. Right now, we're not working together. Our city is so divided. I mean, it's either, if you all pay attention and watch the news, it's either the city council is picking fights with the administration, or it's members of the administration picking fights with the city council. That's not leadership. That's not good government. And we cannot attract industry if we don't know how to conduct business ourselves.
All right, Dog, are you
Yeah,
working?
could I borrow your microphone?
Oh, absolutely.
We'll just use this one mic.
Sure, Dumpster. Dumpster has to have his microphone.
Kim, you mentioned the police chief.
Yes.
We've had several police chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy with the current police chief, Chris Reed?
And can I add my question in with this? It goes along with the same thing because you brought up crime. There are people, and I've asked this to all the candidates
Mm-hmm.
that have come in for council and for mayor. A lot of people perceive our town as being crime infested, just worst place in the world to be. Other people say it's just very similar to other towns our size. Where do you come down on our crime issue? Is there one, and where are we headed? You can add that to Dumpster's question.
All right. So the first question, as it relates to Chief Reed, I have had an opportunity to talk with Chief Reed, have a relationship with him. When I call him, he answers. When I have individuals call him on his cell phone that he puts on his business card, he actually not only calls them, but he goes to the community. Just the other day, last Saturday, I believe it was, he was out playing basketball with a group of kids at a community event. My thought process as it relates to the police department, I know there are some issues within the police department. At least that's what I hear. Once I'm in office of mayor, I will go into not just the police department, we'll start there, but every department. I need to know what's fact and what's fiction. I think now that we have some stability within the police department, it would be, what's a word that's friendly? It would just be ludicrous to go in and uproot when we finally got some stability. Now, are there some bad apples? Are there some concerns? Are there some things that we need to make sure we address? Absolutely. But before I go and say I'm going to get rid of Chief Reed or anybody else, we're going to go in there and find out what the issues are, figure out what's fact, what is fiction, and then we move forward from there. As it relates to the crime and the perception of Meridian, I go to Highland Park. I walk at Bonita. I walk my neighborhood. Now, there are areas that there are situations, but it's just like any other city of our size. How do you police if I just all of a sudden sitting here talking to you guys and all of a sudden I just walk outside and start shooting in the air? How do you police if I'm with my homegirl and all of a sudden we get in an argument and shots are fired? We get so emotional, or you're playing spades, or whatever the case may be. How do you police these things that happen suddenly and sometimes accidental, or even when it's intentional? It's planned, plotted, and those kind of things. I have to applaud the police department because they do go and get the bad guy. We may not be able to stop everything as it happens, but I'm feeling real good about the response that the police department is able to give in catching some of these folks. I think with the right leadership at the helm, we can be more attractive to get more police officers on the ground. We need more officers. The city council, we have fully funded our police department's budget so that when folks want to come and work for the police department, we can hire them. But the truth is, y'all, people are not. It's not like it used to be 30 or 40 years ago when little boys and little girls said, I want to be a police officer. I want to be a fireman. That's not the conversation now. And I think if you have the right person at the helm that's really spreading the message of recruiting and showing the value to our young folks, some of our college students, that, hey, this is a career opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to have an impact on your city. It's an opportunity. If there is all this quote unquote police brutality and those kind of things going on that we hear about all across our country, here's an opportunity for you to get in position to be part of the solution to be part of the solution by becoming a police officer and helping us make Meridian and the entire country, in my opinion. If we get the right people in position, we can really change things around with any and all of these things, which is why I'm running.
Good conversation with Councilwoman Kim Houston, and she's running for a Democratic candidate. She's running for mayor.
Yes, I'm running for mayor.
And it's just around the corner, y'all. The primary is a week and a few days away. Dumpster?
Yeah, Councilman George Thomas talks a lot about an edict from the EPA that's going to require the city of Meridian to spend a lot of money
120
on
million.
our water treatment facilities, our wastewater treatment facilities. I mean, it's in the billions, is it not?
120 million.
$120 million. If you're elected mayor, Kim, how do you propose we pay for that?
Well, just like now, we're actually paying for it right now. And I know it has been troublesome as far as the water billing and things of that nature, the increase that our residents have seen in that. That is one way that we are paying for it. The internet sales tax dollars that we are getting now from the state of Mississippi, it has to go toward infrastructure. Once we get through with the paving initiatives and things that we're trying to do as it relates to paving, hopefully we can start having a conversation about that. And now this $120 million that we're having to spend on improving our water and sewerage type infrastructure is not something that happened overnight. It does not have to be paid for overnight. They are giving us time to pay for it and work out those details. And so we'll continue to move forward with the current things that we have that we're working with as far as the water billing, as far as the internet sales tax dollars, and hopefully maybe somewhere down the road there might be some grant availability. But we'll explore every option so that burden won't completely be all on the residents. But if there are some grants, if there's some other opportunities and creative ways that we can knock a dent into that, I gotta say that the state has, the EPA, federal folks, they've been very generous with us in giving us time. We're not the first city to have to go through this consent decree, and we won't be the last, but the can had gotten kicked down the road for so long that it finally hit a wall, and that wall happened to stop with us, those of us who are in leadership now, whether that's on the city council or the mayor's office. And so we're having to, we don't have a choice. We have to pay for it, and thank God that those federal folks are willing to work with us and let us pay for it over time.
Right.
Well, you mentioned you wanted to continue this, keeping some sense of stability in the police department. What about the other departments? Would it be the same thing? Are you going to change department heads? You're going to look into it? How are you going to do that?
Oh, yeah. To be honest with you all, and I always try to be honest, transparent, and accountable. One of the other reasons why I'm running is because we have to have the right people in the right positions if we truly want to move Meridian in a different direction. And so as it relates to the other department heads, I would like to have a hiring, I don't want to say task force again, but I want to have this hiring board. We have some major employers here in the city of Meridian, and asking their human resource department to come to make sure that we are making decisions not based on the buddy system, but really getting qualified folks in these positions. So asking a representative from the HR department, from the hospitals, from maybe the Meridian Public School District, from the Naval Air Station, having the council president and vice president, forming this hiring committee so that we're going to ask people to apply for these positions. All right. We're going to ask people to apply for those positions, and then we're going to take this committee to review and interview these folks that's interested in serving in these various capacities. And my goal is to have the right people in the right position. And it does not have to be my best friend. It does not have to be somebody I know, and it does not have to be somebody that's quote unquote influential in the city of Meridian. But we want qualified people in these positions. This is a business. This is a business. And if we want to move Meridian in a different direction, one that is fair, one that is transparent, one that has processes in place that everybody benefits, that means we have to have the right people in these key positions.
Jimmy Smith was on last week by phone, and we interviewed him like we're talking with you now. He said we need a city engineer again. What are your thoughts about a city engineer for the city?
I think that is something that we need. We had one a few years ago. A gentleman, he worked for MDOT. We were able to recruit him from MDOT. I'm not sure exactly why he left. The city council does not deal with the hiring or firing of these wonderful folks that decide they want to work for us, which is another reason why I'm running. But we have an engineering billet, which means that we can hire an engineer. I think with all of the construction, with everything that we have going on and the direction that we want to move the city in, that it is imperative that we have knowledgeable people. We have experts, if you will, which would be like an engineer, and in these key strategic positions, so that we can make sure that we're doing things the right way. We ran into a debacle. I think that was the 5th Street project. Where who was that? Socrates Garrett or somebody out of Jackson, Mississippi. They came down, and that was a big old mess down there. I think if we have an actual engineer on site that works for the city, that can review all of these plans to make sure things are done right, efficiently, and effectively, then that's going to, again, move our city in a completely different direction that everybody can be proud of, and everybody will win.
We're just about out of time, Dumpster.
Oh, no, don't say that. It was just getting good.
He's got one in his back.
All right, let's talk about streets.
Okay.
I think that the condition of Meridian streets is maybe, besides crime, maybe the number one complaint that Meridian residents have with city government. We hear, talk is cheap. We hear about these paving programs, this paving program and this paving program, and this, but we never see the results. If you're elected mayor, what are you going to do about the condition of the streets in Meridian?
Well, we're going to continue to push forward with our paving program. I did vote for the $12 million paving bond. I know there's a council member that feels like that was not the thing to do. But with my experience and being a homeowner, being somebody that understands that when you have a major problem, you can't just wait till you save up money. You can't just, completely empty your reserves and all that kind of thing, but you must sometimes go to the bank, get some money, and start the process. And so we did I think it was a $7 or $9 million bond my first term on the city council, in which we bought equipment and those kind of things. The idea that was presented to us by the administration then was that we were going to have an ongoing continuous paving program. The problem with that was we did not think forward with the paying of the asphalt. You can't pave without asphalt. And so now with this particular, the $12 million bond that was passed recently, we've already started the process. We've invested in the paving index, where if you saw the street sweepers and stuff going out in your neighborhoods, that was in preparation for the paving index. This paving index is going to take the politics out of what street is going to get paved. It's going to take all that favoritism and all that other stuff out of it, because this independent study is going to rank the streets based on their severity, based on their conditions. And as your next mayor, I'm going to make sure that we follow those recommendations based on severity and the need. And then we're going to continue to, the city council this year, we decided that when we have all this money left over at the end of a budget year, we want to commit $1 million to go directly into public works, specifically for paving. That's going to be big, because now we're actually putting money into this thing to make sure that Public Works have what they need to pave. Our neighborhood streets, that's something I think we can do in-house. We're going to push to still have contracts with APAC and professionals that really know how to do paving for our major thoroughfares. And then the internet sales tax dollars that we receive, those monies, we're going to be able to use those monies. Once the bond is paid back, we'll be able to continue to use those money to put even more dollars in the budget specifically for paving. Those kind of things, it's a priority for me as well, because I live, my route home, I bump along. I see the dilapidated houses. I hear the gunshots at night. I'm not living on some side of town where the streets are, good, and there's no crime, and there's no the abandoned properties and overgrown lots and things. I live where you live. And so I have a vested interest in making sure that these things get done and that they are a priority. It is not out of sight, out of mind. It is a priority for me because I can relate. I feel the pain. I see it. And I want to be part of the solution of making things better.
All right, Kim, take a few minutes now to get back up on the old political stump and tell everybody when they come out to vote. First of all, everybody come out and vote. April the 6th, the primary to come out and vote. Why should they vote for Kim Houston, Mayor of Meridian?
People should vote for me because I can add value to the city of Meridian. I know how to work with people. I know the importance of professionalism. Leadership style matters. We got a lot of people in this race for mayor. And when all is said and done, it's going to come down to what type of leadership style do you want representing you? My leadership style is one that promotes unity and not division. My leadership style is one that promotes us working together, one that focuses on the issues and solutions. I'm going to be focused on the people. There's a reason I'm running, and that's for each and every person that's listening to me or watching me via Facebook Live. That reason is you. So regardless of what your political party affiliation is, this is an open primary. So if you want me to be your mayor, if you want Kim Houston to be your next mayor, if you want me to have that opportunity, I need you to show up strong on April the 6th. April the 6th. Do not wake up on April the 7th and be like, oh my goodness, I guess I should have went out and voted. I need you to go ahead and make a plan now. Matter of fact, City Hall, if you know that you have to work or you're not going to be available, or if you're 65 or older, if you fall in some of those special categories, you can vote absentee right now. You can go to City Hall first floor and cast your ballot for Kim Houston. You can do that now. It's the City Hall will be open on Saturday, this Saturday and next Saturday for those who want to vote absentee. Do that. Go ahead and take care of that. I want to be your next mayor because I feel like together we can go further. I feel like that it's time to move this city in a direction where it's fair, hiring, promotions, bidding. I want to be transparent. I host community meetings as your Ward 4 council person. I want to bring that same energy, that same professionalism, that same open lines of communication. I want to bring that to the entire city of Meridian. And if you give me the opportunity, if you come out on April the 6th and vote for me, that's what you're voting for. And, let's do it. Let's do it. Together we win. Together we go further. Together is how we're going to move this city in a different direction. I forgot to mention that with my educational thing, I am big about the youth. And I know we're running out of time, but let me say this because this is big. I'm willing to commit $25,000 of my mayoral salary to jumpstart my youth empowerment initiative, where we talk about all of the overgrown lots. We talk about the trash and things of that nature. We talk about our senior citizens needing assistance here in our wonderful city. With my youth empowerment initiative, we're going to work with the Boys and Girls Club, Meridian Public School District, and other youth organizations to put these young people to work. Can you imagine putting a little money in the pockets of our young folks so that can take some of the burden maybe off of some of the single parent mothers who's working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, you know, putting these kids to work to help us clean up our city, help us maintain these vacant lots. It's a win-win for everybody. So I have a purpose, I have a plan, I have a platform, and I want to be your next mayor because I can get it done.
Ladies and gentlemen, Councilwoman Kim Houston. She's also a candidate for mayor of Meridian. The primary is coming up a week from this Tuesday. That is April the 6th.
April
Thank you
6th.
so much for coming in this morning. We really appreciate it, and best of luck to you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Kim.
All right, thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
Yes, anytime.
All right, y'all stay tuned. We'll be back with Miss Annie at Binky's Restaurant on Big Ten MOX.
Thank y'all for watching.
You did great.